Come back to the deep dive. Today, we're wading into a topic you probably think you know. Geographic Information Systems, GIS. But if you hear GIS and just, picture big, colorful maps, well, you might be missing the really crucial part.
That's exactly right. Our mission today really is to get beyond just the visuals. GIS isn't simply a tool for drawing. It's fundamentally an analytical framework.
Okay.
A powerful engine, actually, connecting location, the where, to data, the what and why, to answer some really complex questions.
Okay, let's unpack that. Geographic Information System. So the geographic part, that's straightforward. Enough location coordinates the where.
Precisely. Latitude, longitude.
And the information.
Yeah.
That's the key bit, right? The data about that location,
Right.
what analysts call attribute data.
Attribute data, exactly. That's the why. It's all the descriptive stuff about that point or area.
Like,
Population density, maybe rainfall amounts, median income, even the age and material of, say, water pipes buried underground.
got it. And the system.
That's the framework, the technology, the software, the methods, everything that links that specific coordinate, that where, to all that detailed why data. That's what makes the analysis possible.
So hold on. How is this different from just like a really advanced Google Maps? Isn't it still basically visualization?
Well, visualization is an output, a very useful one. But the power, the core function, is the relationship analysis.
Okay.
So we're not just showing where a school is on a map, we're overlaying its exact location with, say, known flood zone boundaries.
I see.
And then analyzing maybe how many students live within that high-risk flood path, that complex relational query connecting the where to the why and asking what if. That's the real heart of GIS.
That makes a lot more sense. So if the power is in layering and analyzing all that data, how on earth did people manage this kind of information before computers got, fast?
Oh, it was a logistical challenge, to put it mildly. Think back to the old way. Paper maps.
Right.
If you wanted to compare, say, road networks with property lines and maybe elevation contours, you had to physically get transparent sheets for each one.
Transparencies, like overhead projector sheet.
Exactly like that. And you'd stack them up on a light table, carefully align them.
Wow.
And if just one property line changed, someone had to manually redraw the master map. It was incredibly slow, static.
I can just picture the frustration. So we went from manually stacking sheets, which must have taken ages,
Weeks.
to a system that can process, millions of records almost instantly? How did that happen?
Well, it's the evolution of the whole system. Modern infrastructure. Specifically, it's the interplay between advanced software, think ArcGIS or QGIS, and the huge amounts of data we now have, plus critically, the people, the experts who know how to structure the data and ask the right analytical question.
Right. The human element is still key.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about the so what. Where does this actually impact our lives? Urban planning, maybe?
Oh, hugely. Take locating a new hospital. It's not just about finding the geographic center of a city anymore.
Ah, okay. So it gets more sophisticated.
Much more. A GIS can layer data on, say, poverty levels, current emergency response times, even traffic patterns, existing hospital capacities.
So you might find the central spot isn't actually the best spot for access.
Exactly. Maybe that central spot poorly serves the population most reliant on public transport. The GIS analysis helps find a location that optimizes access based on all those human factors, those attributes.
That's fascinating. What about business?
Business logistics, definitely. Site selection is a classic example.
Finding the right place for a new store.
Precisely. Companies use GIS to layer things like traffic counts, customer demographics from census data, proximity to competitors, even visibility from the road.
All to pinpoint that one ideal spot.
To minimize risk and maximize potential. It's very data-driven.
And I heard even agriculture uses it.
Yeah, precision agriculture is booming. Farmers are using GIS to map soil variations within a single field.
So not treating the whole field the same.
Right. They map nutrient levels, moisture, etc., then use that map to guide automated farm equipment to apply fertilizer or water only where it's needed and in the precise amounts needed.
Which saves money and boosts yield.
Correct. Better for the wallet, better for the environment.
Okay, so pulling it all together.
To synthesize it, yeah. GIS essentially equals smart maps. Maps that don't just show you where things are, but let you analyze complex relationships and make informed decisions based on location. It's the why and the where finally working together seamlessly.
Okay, so final thought then. If that attribute data, the information part, is really the most valuable component, here's something to think about. What important questions are we not asking right now simply because we haven't collected, or maybe haven't even thought to collect, the right kind of attribute data yet? Makes you think about data collection itself, doesn't it?
It really does. What are the unknowns we haven't even defined? Food for thought, indeed.
That wraps up our deep dive into geographic information systems. We'll catch you next time.